Welcome to Brave Enough for Love, the podcast for anyone who knows happily ever after doesn't always happen on the first try. Meet your hosts, Chris and Kabrina, two people who've been married, divorced, figured some things out the hard way, and still decided love was worth another shot. They found it with each other. And now they're talking about everything that comes with round two, navigating careers, dealing with exes, kids and blended families, big adventures, sex, and everything in between. The messy parts, the beautiful parts, and the hilarious no one warned us about this parts. If you're into honest conversation, real laughs, and the reminder that starting over can actually be better than starting from scratch, you're in the right place. This is Brave Enough for Love.
Hey everybody, we're back with more of our new favorite game, modern dating term. What does it mean? What is this thing? Let's talk it through. Kabrina's our reigning champion from the last episodes. So you get to start. Kabrina, what do you got?
Okay, so today we are starting with the word stashing.
It's when you grow a really cool mustache in order to get better dates. Stashing is probably when you date people, stream along, and stick them in your back pocket so that when times are dry, you have someone there.
Yeah, so it's when a partner keeps you hidden from friends, family, and social media as if you don't exist, which was also known as pocketing.
Pocketing. So you stash things in your pocket.
I think it's funny that there's so many words that mean the same exact thing.
Yeah.
This is just a synonym for pocketing.
Well, I think a lot of people are doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a big thing. Keep everything quiet and hidden.
Mm-hmm. Well, we
Yeah.
talked about this last time of like if you're somebody who posts a lot on social media and you're with somebody, like you know that partner posts a lot on social media and then they never post anything about you, then it's like, okay, well, we should have a conversation about this. Like, why is that the case? Because I think that there's moments of like when we first started dating, we didn't put on Facebook right away that we were dating.
Right.
Because as soon as we did, I had people in my DMs almost faster than I thought that it posted itself that I was dating somebody.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that even though we had posted pictures of with each other, people just are dumb and they don't like catch on until a notification comes up.
Mm-hmm.
So, is this serious? And if it's not, you need to just be aware of that because I think deep down we know if it's a serious situation or not, but we decide to ignore that fact because we'd rather be with somebody than not be with somebody.
Yeah, but this idea of pocketing and stashing and hiding things feels to me like it goes a whole lot deeper than that. It's like, I'm going to keep my options way open.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even going to be seen with you. Now, why do people do that? I mean, this is totally top of my head, but I'm embarrassed of the person that I'm fooling around with.
Mm-hmm.
Or I have other people out there that I'm doing the same thing to, so I don't want them to see this. It seems very backhanded.
I think it's mostly the second one.
Okay.
I think it also could easily be, I'm with you and this feels okay, but I don't want to close off my options just in case.
Okay.
Which I've seen a lot of and had conversations with people where they're like, well, what if there's somebody else better for me out there?
Right.
And it's like, well, then wait for that person. But we're so impatient about this dating process of like, well, if somebody asks me out on a date, I think you said this to one of the kids one time, even if they ask you out, you don't have to say yes.
Of course.
And I think that most people are like, well, if I don't say yes, then the opportunity is never going to come back again. It's like job searching.
Right.
If I say yes to the first job, even though it's not the exact one that I want, at least I have a job. And I think most people kind of run their lives like this. This is not just a dating problem. This is an overarching everybody problem.
Well, I mean, I have a better suggestion. Just find the right person and stick with them like we did, you know.
Yeah, well, and I think that people that hear that are like, well, how do you find the right person?
I have no idea. It just happened. The universe did it.
Yeah, and I think there's some other things that we've learned along the way that actually make it to where you can understand how is that the right person for me?
Yeah, a big amount of insight comes from going through long-term relationship or marriage having that fall apart, dissolve. I know when I first got it back out in the world, I was keenly aware of red flags. And I wasn't really going to put in red flags that I thought were deal breakers. I wasn't going to put them aside. I wasn't going to like just get into a casual relationship knowing that they were there. I had no interest in it. Like if I'm going to put my time and energy, I'm going to find the right person, the right type of person to do that with.
Well, and I think if you're in this for long term, I think you have to decide, am I dating because I just want to date and fool around?
Yeah.
That's totally fine if that's the place
Yes.
you want to be in, but you have to be honest with yourself that that's where you're at and not expect people to want more than that and be very clear with the person that you're with that that's your intention.
Does that work?
I don't think so, but some people do. So I could be wrong. The second one is, am I in this because I want to have a long-term relationship and I'm looking for my person?
Right.
And being very clear with the other person that that is your intention.
Right.
And it all comes down to, what is my intention in this? Why am I dating in the first place? And then, is this person aligned with the life and the things that I want? And I think once you've been married and divorced or in a long-term relationship, there's kids involved, there's other things involved. You know what it's like to put your finances together and then rip them apart, have a house, rip them apart. So you have different expectations and you have different insights that you didn't have the first time. So instead of going, well, I'll just settle for this, choosing to say, this doesn't work for me, here is why, let's have a conversation about it. And if that person's like, I will absolutely not do that, then you have to make the decision of, will I just sit here and settle and get bitter? Because you will. Or will I just say, okay, thank you for letting me know and having that conversation with me and moving on?
Okay, so the crux of interhuman relationships in 2026, nobody knows how to communicate.
No, and nobody wants to have the hard conversations because it doesn't feel good.
No.
Nobody likes having hard conversations. When we have hard conversations, my stomach gets in knots. I don't want to eat. I feel gross, but we don't have a choice. We have to have difficult conversations because it's part of life.
Mhm.
And if you're not willing to have difficult conversations, you're not ready to be in a relationship.
For sure.
Period.
Yeah, I mean, difficult conversations get you on the same journey, right? That's how you end up on the same path, linked arm in arm, moving towards a goal.
Yeah.
Is by being able to say, here's my boundary, here's my fear, here's my concern, and be able to talk it through without demeaning and degrading and breaking each other.
Well, and there is this piece of, I feel this way.
Yeah.
And whether the person caused it or not is not the crux of the issue here. It's saying, this situation, no matter how we got into this situation, makes me feel this way. And that can be, I feel these things in my body. I feel these things emotionally. It can be both. And being able to have that kind of conversation. And that to me is a huge green or red flag, depending on how the person handles that.
Absolutely.
If I was to come to somebody and say, I feel like we're disconnected because when we don't see each other for a week and I text you and you don't text me back for several days, I feel like you don't care or that you're doing something else and that the relationship is not a priority. If you were then to come back at me as that person and go, well, you don't understand, I'm so busy, all these things, I'd go, great, I totally understand that. And this is also a context thing. If you were at a conference for work and that happened, I, as that person, would have to go, okay, they're busy. And that's okay because they're doing stuff for work. Because it's always a pain in the ass to be gone, anyways. And then you, as that person, could say something like, I'm so sorry. I was at work and when I'm at conferences, I'm up at 6 a.m. and I don't go to bed until 9. And between all of the things that I had to do and the work that I had to hurry up and get done before I went to bed, I just never got back to my phone. It's not just your text that didn't get answered. It's dozens of other people. And so then my feelings and I know your feelings, and then we can make adjustments based on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a big part of this that is all relationships have to meet somewhere in the middle as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, I have to go on a work conference coming up. I've always lived with the opinion it takes 4 seconds to get back to somebody. I can do that, right? But if you said to me, I hate it. It's been 8 hours since we've talked, and I really wanted to tell you something. It's kind of important. I needed your advice, and you weren't there. Irregardless, that's not a word. Regardless, if I was on a stage or speaking or in a session, even if I have the most valid reason why I didn't have my phone, I'm going to lead with, I'm really sorry that happened today. I may tell you that I wasn't trying to be malicious, that, I was in this, my phone was shut off because of this, and then my response should be, I recognize how you're feeling. And as your partner, I will let you know before that happens next time, or I will try to get back to you,
Mm-hmm.
And I think we do that pretty well,
Mm-hmm.
which is one of the nice things. We communicate very openly about this stuff and always meet in the middle.
Because you're always going to have different opinions on how things should go and what it looks like and how you interact with people when you're in different situations. And so deciding ahead of time, okay, is this person being too clingy? Why do I feel like they're being too clingy? Instead of complaining about it to your friends or bitching about it,
Yeah.
having a conversation of like, I understand that you want me to communicate in this way, but this feels like too much for me. Can we do fill in the blank?
Right.
I'm not getting mad at the person. I'm not telling them that their feelings are wrong. I'm just having the conversation of, I can't do that. And this is all situational.
Right.
Like if you're there's lots of jobs out there where you're not allowed to have your phone on you. So we both have the ability to have our phones on us at work, and it's not a problem. But for those people who can't, and you have a partner that's mad at you that you didn't answer right away,
Yeah.
you have to go, I understand your feelings here, and this is not something that I can change. Thank you for telling me. I will let you know when I'm shutting my phone off when I get to work, and I will let you know when I get back to it. Which even that can feel a little too heavy for some people because then it feels like somebody's watching you all the time and you need to hurry up and communicate with them. So then you have to have the conversation of, okay, if we're going to make this work, this is where therapy comes in. Of why do you feel the need to have tabs on this person all the time?
Right. I don't know how we got here from pocketing, or what was it?
Stashing.
Stashing.
Do you want to do the
But
next
good
one?
discussion. Good discussion.
It was a good discussion.
Ghosting.
Oh, ghosting. Our kids use this word a lot. They actually saw, because that was the first one that printed out. And my kid was like, why do you have a paper that says ghosting on it?
Right.
And I had to explain what it was to her. And it's when somebody's talking to you and you're doing something back and forth, and all of a sudden you send something and nothing gets said, or you call them and they never call you back. And you're like, where did you go? And I think that this was the very first dating term that I ever heard.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Because people were like, oh, I'm getting ghosted. And I've said it with like in the side of business of somebody will not show up for a call and they won't answer a text message or the emails that you send. That to me is ghosting as well. So,
or you apply for a job, go through
absolutely.
2 rounds of interviews, and then silence.
And then all of a sudden there's nothing.
So years ago, before ghosting was a term, I applied for a job with a very well-known federal agency that delivers mail to your house. I don't remember the name of them. Oh yeah, the mail department, the USPS, and it was to run a media department for them. And I was so excited. And I did a phoner, went on 2 interviews. Everything was great. They want me. Dead silence. Almost 3 years later, I get a phone call telling me that they wanted to hire me for the job. And I was like, are you people out of your mind?
Three
Almost
years?
3 years. Yeah, it was
Oh
like
my God.
more than 2.5 years. Crazy. But yeah, ghosting's been around for a long time, and it just feels cruel.
It does. I had the same thing happen with the NBA.
Yeah.
And I had gone through lines of calls. They were like, yes, this is perfect. We're going to
We
have
want
you
you.
on. And then all of a sudden I heard nothing. And I'm like contacting all the people. And they're like, oh, We went in a different direction. And I was like, you could have like let me know. We've been doing this for 6 months.
Yeah, seriously. In dating, in relationships, to me, it feels particularly harmful. I mean, it's really harmful in business as well. But is it so hard to just say to somebody, "Thank you. It was lovely to meet you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see this going anywhere."
Yeah.
It's so cruel to leave somebody hanging.
Mm-hmm. I'm very forward when it comes to things like this. I went on a date with somebody that I had met at church, and, it seemed really good. We had had conversations on the phone. We saw each other at church every week. And so we went to coffee.
Uh-huh.
And he could not hold down a conversation without commenting about every car that passed by. It's on a busy street. That's basically what he talked about the whole entire time. And by the end of it, both of us looked at each other and we knew that this was not going to work out. It was not something that was even feasible. He was a couple years younger than me. And that should have been my first, no, we can't do this. But I looked at him and I said, so we're just going to wave at each other at church moving forward, right? And he was like, yeah. And that was a very easy way to just be like, hey, we can still say hey,
Sure.
but we don't need to be best friends because we can't even hold a conversation at coffee. And no matter how good looking he was, it didn't matter, because at the end of the day, even if the sex life would have been great, you can only handle not having conversation for so long.
That's kind of an assumptive jump. You said it would be.
That what? I said even if it would be.
If you can't tell, Kabrina's like a master of conversation. Having conversations is an important part of your life.
I have 3 podcasts.
Yeah, well, that's true.
That's all I do is talk.
Have you ever ghosted somebody?
I've never ghosted somebody.
Have you been ghosted?
A ton.
Yeah. And what is the fallout of that? Have you been ghosted after more than a date? Have you been ghosted after a short-term relationship or something like that?
Yes, and friendships.
Ooh.
There's a lot of friendships that I've been in where people will, you'll get distant from each other.
Yeah.
I actually just had a girl that I was really good friends with, and that, we would go to lunch together when she lived here, and then she moved away, and we used to text each other fairly consistently, and then all of a sudden she didn't say anything for a really long time, and I was like, hey, and then you don't hear anything back, and there's only so many times that I'm like, okay, I'm going to just keep following up. And then the other day she's like, oh my gosh, I've missed you. And I'm like, hi, where have you been? So, I think that we kind of we let ghosting take over.
Yeah.
Instead of being intentional and seeing the text message come in. And I'm guilty of waiting several days or even a week and then going back and being like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. My kid was playing on my phone, opened this text message because it came in while they were doing some game. And I didn't see that they had opened it. But I try and go back and look through stuff. And I love to go back and delete old threads and things like that, especially for the shit that comes in on your phone for the marketing stuff. And I normally will see older threads that are just have popped up higher because of somebody texting in them.
If a ghost comes back, is it our resurrection or what is that?
Oh my God, that should be one of the words.
Resurrection. We're adding.
I like that.
Perfect.
We should add
Perfect.
that. Mm-hmm. Note to self. We should bring a pen in here.
We really should. Thank God it's all recorded. We can just go through the notes. Yeah.
Right. Cuffing season.
Cuffing season is... So you've explained this to me in the past, I believe.
Had you heard this before I said anything about it?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Maybe, but I didn't pay attention. But I pay attention to everything you say. So isn't cuffing season as you get towards the end of the year and it's cold and there's holidays and New Year resolutions. So the urge to get hitched really quickly, to get a serious relationship, boyfriend or girlfriend, becomes really strong.
Yeah. So I had never heard about this until 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. I had only been living here. I moved to Tennessee in August of that year. And, I was flipping through TikTok because being single, on the weeks that my kids weren't with me, I'd clean my house, I'd get extra work done, and I would watch TikTok. and go swing dancing or salsa dancing. I was taking dancing lessons at the time. And I was flipping through TikTok one night, laying in bed, and this girl's like, "Oh yeah, it's about to be cuffing season." And I was like, "Is that a game?
Yeah.
Is that something that we like a wedding thing?" Because I'm thinking like cuffs that you put on
Like a suit.
suits. Yeah.
Okay.
Because that was a really popular thing for a hot minute where people did like all the different kinds of cuffs.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well maybe there's a game around this that I'm just not aware of. And so I went and searched it, and or as our children say, we went and searched it up. And I was like, oh, this is really interesting because it is that fall to winter season.
Yeah.
And there's a specific date. So it's like right as October is hitting. So as the fall starts to come in, so like September, October, you start to like start looking for somebody as the summer ends. School starts, everybody's back in some kind of routine. And I think routine is part of the reason that people are like, I need to be with somebody because it's cold. I need to be cozy. So as soon as the PSLs come out, people are ready to
Pumpkin spice love.
Exactly. Oh my God, Starbucks would have such a good commercial from this. But if they use it, you have to report them because they're stealing our idea.
Got it.
Anywho, but then you go into this season where you go through Thanksgiving and Christmas together and then New Year's. And then you're supposed to break up with the person before Valentine's Day.
Got it.
And I found that very interesting.
Why?
Because you don't have to get a gift. Some people will wait until after Christmas to find somebody, only have somebody for January and then half of February, and then get rid of them before then, which I found really interesting too, because people were very concerned about the gifting pieces
Really?
of being in a relationship during the holidays.
But isn't a lot of it like having somebody to bring home to show off and
Sometimes,
like because otherwise mom's like, when are you gonna get a boyfriend? That kind of thing.
Okay, so when I work with people who do fertility stuff, that's always one of the big marketing points that I'm telling them is like, what do parents say when you come home for Christmas and there's no baby, there's no boyfriend? Where are these things that I really want you to have?
Right.
So that's an interesting.
Mm-hmm. All right, cuffing season.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's the best name, but I get it.
I don't understand the term completely, but
one of the ones that just messes my brain. I don't get it. Situationships.
We've talked about this a lot.
Yeah.
Because it is one of the primary. It's basically like single relationship or situationship is really the main things that people are talking about.
Big time.
And I think that situationships are one of those things that they're basically just really no commitment relationships. Yeah. You really are. There's one person in the relationship that wants to be in the relationship. Mm-hmm. And there's one person who just wants to get laid.
There it is.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. Can two people be in a situationship? I don't think so. Because of the fact that then it's just a getting laid.
Right.
I think that there really is a difference here. Because in order to have the relationship in it.
Yeah, you do things together.
Yeah,
you're spending time
a lot of these
together.
People live together.
Crazy. How do you do? I don't understand as a human how you do that. How you engage your life with somebody and be romantic and be physical and be sexual and not develop feelings.
Somebody always develops feelings. That's
Somebody
the problem.
always develops feelings. Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
And I think having been in a situationship unintentionally, I thought that I could go into a relationship and just get laid and be fine. And I was the one who caught feelings. Yeah. And so, you have to be really careful. I wish I would have read Dating is Your Superpower by Case Kenny and gone through that workbook prior to all of my mistakes. Because of the fact that he talks specifically about situationships and basically says, this is not a good idea, but if you have to do it, here's the guardrails around that.
Smart.
Because you have to be obnoxiously honest with yourself. And the minute you start to catch feelings, you have to have, and I think this is one of the terms, is a DTR.
Oh,
We'll get
wait a
there.
second. I don't
DTR.
remember.
You don't remember. Yeah. So it's definitely one of those things. Like, you have to have that come to Jesus with each other of what.
Define the relationship.
There you go.
Thank you.
We used to say in college all the time, okay, it's time to go to the student union and have a DTR. It's time for that come to Jesus. And so, but those are one of the things that you have to be very careful of when it comes to relationships.
Yeah.
And that's where it comes back to the intention.
Yeah.
And if somebody is like, I don't want this, you have to choose to walk away and be okay with walking away, even though it's going to be painful and you're going to be sad.
Yeah. Well, better to do it when you start to catch the feeling than when you are mired in the feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you can't make one of the biggest keys that we talk about all the time. We say this to our kids all the time. You can't make somebody like you. You can't make somebody love you. You can't make somebody willing to commit to you. You can only impact yourself.
Mm-hmm. And if you feel like you're in a situation where you have to force somebody to love you, or you have to convince them, or you have to give them evidence of why.
And you're always adding more and always building and always trying to make them love you more.
I've done this in relationships. I did this in my marriage. And the feeling of demeaning and belittling of your own self that it puts on you to go, if I do more. In my marriage, it was always, if I am skinnier, if I make more money, if I don't ask for anything, if I do all the housework, if I take care of the kids completely by myself, then he will finally love me. And to try and convince somebody and give them basically this debate style, here's all the evidence of why you should love me.
Right.
And they still don't want to love. Like, you should never have to convince the person that you're in love with to love you.
And it doesn't matter how much more you do, it doesn't change that dynamic. It just burns you out more.
And then eventually it hits you and it makes you fucking bitter that you've wasted all this time trying to convince somebody to love you, when if somebody's going to love you, they should love you regardless.
Yeah. Yeah. So early on, we had those conversations. It was like, nope, I don't care what you have. I don't care what we get out of this relationship. I just want to be with you.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. My day is infinitely better when I am with you because I love you. Just you.
Yeah. Well, and I was just putting some things in for a client today of the things that I'm helping her with for shifting some stuff within herself, and was looking through some of my old things to give her some examples. And I found where I had written down all the things that I wanted in a partner. Mm-hmm. And I was rereading them while I was writing this email. And I was like, how interesting that it's everything on there is exactly how you are.
Well, we found each other.
Yeah. And so it's really cool when you start doing the work of the more that I envision the person that I want, do the things that I need to do in order to get that in my brain, then my brain, the reticular activating system, is going to actually go find that person. That's what you're looking for now.
Right. Yeah, so cool when you set the limits and you say, this is what I want in life. And then your direction, your focus goes towards that.
Mm-hmm. It's that what you put your mind into is what you will find.
You're going to get all sorts of neuroscience on this on this podcast. Kabrina's the walking encyclopedia.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right.
You ready? I don't know what this one is.
The inventory, is that just your stack? Is that all the people you have on the shelf in your store?
I mean, I feel like it would be a roster.
Yeah, your roster of folks.
Okay, so it says the honest self-reflection work of identifying your role in what went wrong in your marriage before dating again. Oh, okay, so taking your own inventory.
Got it. That should that should probably be like your inventory then.
Yeah.
Got it. Yes, very important.
That is really interesting. It's the sentence was, my therapist called it the inventory, hard work, but I wasn't going to repeat the same patterns.
Got it.
That's really interesting, of taking an inventory of yourself.
Sure.
I mean, I like that idea.
I mean, we all do it. I just never heard it called that before.
Yeah, I hadn't either.
Breadcrumbing.
Breadcrumbing. This is such a business
This is
term.
when your kids eat bread and they just put it all over the floor and make a gigantic mess, and the robot vacuum picks it up.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my God. We're at robot vacuums.
Robot vacuums. Breadcrumbing, baby. What is it?
This episode is brought to you by Robot Vacuums.
Yeah.
How we stay sane.
Map and suck. Mop and suck, yeah. Map and then suck, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
What is breadcrumbing?
So breadcrumbing is when you give little bits and pieces for people to link onto. So this originally is actually I think it started in the tech world.
Yeah, websites.
Yeah, because you would breadcrumb throughout in order to get people where you wanted them to go.
Yeah.
It's very much a tech and marketing term that has been pulled into dating. I'm interested to see if it says anything else about the end goal, because breadcrumbing normally is a good thing. You want to do it, but in this case, I don't think that it is.
It's not. It's sending just enough attention to someone, keep them interested without any real intention of committing.
Mm-hmm.
She texts me just enough to keep me hanging on, but never wants to make plans. That's breadcrumbing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not committing, not saying yes, but keeping somebody around just enough
Mm-hmm. To where they're there if
that
you
they
need
could be in a
them.
situationship.
Yes. So if somebody's breadcrumbing you, just ask for the full meal. You can only eat the appetizer for so long.
Do you know anybody who has been in a long, loose, on and off relationship that ends up fully committed with that person?
No.
I feel like that more often than not, the really strong relationships, the ones that are incredibly durable that get through hard stuff, are the ones that meet each other and they're just like, we met each other and I was just like, nope, don't need anybody else.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I want. This is my human. And I think that if it starts with that vacillation and back and forth, it goes on for a long time, then it's like settling almost, rather than the lightning that says, yeah, universe did good. I found my person.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I feel like a lot of those people, I don't know what movie it's from, but there's a movie where they say, if we're still single in 5 years from now, then we'll just decide to be together.
Yeah.
And I found myself saying that to myself at one point, and it's one of those things of if you have to decide on a date that we'll stop fucking around and make this official at this point,
Yeah.
they're probably not the right person, because you need to have that I'm in this, because things get hard and you have confrontation and you don't want somebody to walk out because they feel, taken out or put upon in a situation.
Also, what a great way to start a relationship. If I don't find something better in 5 years.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess you'll do, I guess.
I don't even think we hear ourselves when we say these things.
No, we don't.
We don't.
All right, what do we got?
Okay.
Permission to date whom?
I don't know.
Who would be giving me permission to date?
I don't think that
Is that when you give yourself permission to date? Like after you come out of a difficult situation, come out of a divorce or a long relationship, you work on yourself, you give yourself permission to go out there. Say,
Yeah,
okay,
I like
now
this.
Worth it.
Yeah, I like this definition. It says the internal psychological shift when a divorced person finally accepts they are allowed to want love again without guilt.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We watched a really sweet movie like this where the lady's husband had died in a car accident. And she felt guilty going on dates because she was so madly in love with her person that going on a date with somebody else, even though he was gone, didn't feel right.
Betrayal.
Yeah. And so she had to go through a whole entire several years of stuff before she was ready to date again.
Yeah.
And even then she was like, I'm not sure that I like you, but I'm not sure that I'm like ready for this, which is a really interesting concept that I don't have really any.
Was that the one that came out after the Sleeping?
It was, yeah.
Okay. What was that called? Sleeping Beauty Next Door?
Yes.
On Prime.
It was on Prime.
Yeah, on Prime. Sleeping Beauty Next Door is such a cute movie. It's such a sleeper.
Yes.
I didn't even do it on purpose. Oh my God.
But yes, that whole company, I don't remember what they're called. But it seems to be like a newer movie company.
Yeah, I think it's an Amazon production company.
They have some really, really cute, and they're like all sweet, like Hallmarky without the yucky Hallmarky part.
Yeah, totally. It was adorable.
Yeah.
If you need some love, watch it.
It's a good sit and have a cup of coffee or a glass of wine with a comfy blanket. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Is it me? We all know this one.
Oh, love bombing.
Love bombing.
This was basically my whole entire marriage was love bombing. And so it's one of those things where you'll get into a fight, something will happen, you'll get angry with each other, and then the person who caused the fight will go, I'm so sorry, here's all of this love, here's these gifts, here's these things that fix the fact that I was a jerk or that I yelled at you or any of those things. And it's a cycle that happens over and over again. And it's one of those things where it might not be the same thing that's happening every single time. It might not always be yelling. It might not always be forgetting something. It might not always be, being mean. But it's a constant. I do something bad, and instead of apologizing and fixing my behavior, I give you a bunch of things, which then makes you obligated to like me again. Things settle down for a little bit. And then things escalate, and life happens, and it happens again.
Yeah.
And so you go through these cycles, and most people have them that they are longer, and then they start to get shorter over time.
The key in here is control. That's the definition there. That love bombing is to control.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it called when you positively love bomb? Like we pebble each other all the time.
I don't think there is positive love bombing. I think that is just affection.
Is that like love cluster bombing? Or,
I don't think that you can call it bombing, though,
okay.
because bombing insinuates something bad.
That's true. Yeah.
So,
Don't love bomb people.
no. I mean, if you do something wrong and you feel very genuinely remorseful about it.
Yeah. Apologize first.
Apologize. And then if it is correct to do something for that thing,
right,
then do it. Like if you forgot somebody's birthday.
Right.
And they don't say anything about it. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I misplaced that was your birthday. And then you go and get them a present and bring it over. That's different because we're just fixing the thing that we did. We're not adding in.
Right.
I mean, I remember very vividly when I was a kid. My dad had been out all night drinking, didn't come home, and my mom lost her shit and was really upset with him, obviously. And he wasn't allowed to come home for several days and ended up staying somewhere else. I was fairly young, so I don't remember. And I just remember it was right before Valentine's Day or Easter. And we came home from school and there was little heart boxes on the table, and he had gotten each girl a heart necklace. And that was my first real experience remembering what love bombing was and what it felt like, because even at that age, I was still really mad about the situation. And then I was conflicted because I was probably like 10 or 12 years old. So old enough to like semi-understand, but not quite old enough to understand completely. Of being like mad about the situation because I understood what was happening and that there was consequences for actions. But then also upset that I was expected to just forgive because I got a present.
Right.
And so that's part of this thing of like being sincerely sorry is different than handing over a gift and hoping that people will just kind of sweep it under the rug.
Got it.
That's a wrap on this episode of Brave Enough for Love. Follow the show wherever you listen so you don't miss what's coming next. If this episode made you laugh, think, or text your best friend immediately, go ahead and share it. Send it to someone who needs it. Drop your questions in the Spotify Q&A or find us on TikTok and Instagram. We're there and we're talking back. We'll be back soon with more love, more laughs, and probably more tea. Stay brave.